I'll just look to the side.
Yeah,
or,
yeah,
okay.
yeah.
So I'll pretend that I'm talking to my bag.
Yeah. You obviously do yoga every day, right?
Yeah. Some kind of form. Yeah, every day. Because really, like, you can scour the internet and try and find something that's going to like motivate you in your class. Yeah. But really it comes from within. Really what I'm teaching in the class comes from me, and find a few kind of postures that we haven't done for a little while. And then I think, oh, that's really nice on the lower back, let's incorporate that. And then I might just build my whole class around that.
Yeah.
But generally speaking, the movement and how I explain it, it has to come from what I've experienced. So I can't just say, put your left foot here, put your right foot here.
Yeah.
It comes from a place of, I know this feels good.
Yeah.
And so it has to come from like a lived experience. You have to feel it yourself before then you can like pass that on to somebody else.
Yes.
So that's why I really like to bring those, I talk about like those mindful moments in class.
Yeah.
And that might be the bit where, you know, people are like, oh, just stop talking, hurry up, I just want to do warrior.
No, not at all.
Right? And that kind of feeling can come up, and it's almost about noticing that comes up and watching that propensity in ourselves to just want to always move on to the next thing. Because I know I do it myself. And it's just human nature to just want to move on. I want to get going. I want to like stand up and do warrior, and you know, but it's really like it's noticing that we're going slow, telling your body we're going slow, telling your nervous system we're going slow, because that's what takes you into a completely different way of being. And that's really what I guess yoga is all about, right? Okay, so there's this concept in yoga, it's called ahimsa, and it basically means non-harming. And I always used to think that meant don't slap somebody, don't punch them, don't harm them in that respect. And while it does mean that, it also means non-harming in your language towards somebody, non-harming in your thoughts towards somebody. So are you this kind of person who somebody says something and then you have this irritation and you say something back in your head that's like really mean? So even though you haven't verbalized it, you still had that mean thought. You haven't put yourself in their shoes. So one of the ways that I know I can practice ahimsa, which is actually important because it's something that you can tune into in every conversation that you're having, in every single relationship that you're having. It's one way that you take your yoga into your everyday, and that is this practice of ahimsa. And fundamentally, one of the ways that I know I can do that is by responding and not reacting. And that takes a lot of practice, takes lots of yoga hours on the yoga mat. But the theory goes that if you can spend time in that meditative state where you've taken your nervous system into a place where there's calm and peace and ease, then when you are having this conversation, it doesn't have to be a difficult conversation necessarily, any conversation, is that you can learn to pause. So you pause and you take in what the person has said and you have a few moments to contemplate what they've said, give yourself some empathy about, oh, that actually sounded really mean, or that actually sounds really confusing, and you tune in to what's going on in your head first, and then you respond. That's where we met. Yeah, so we met at an investment bank, and then he stayed on to do that as his career, and I obviously didn't. Thank goodness, because it's just not my jam. And yeah, and now it's now.